To be better integrated in the global economy, Africa has to be within the flow of foreign investment. To reach this objective, like everywhere else in the world, borders and numerous obstacles have to be removed by creating vast economic zones equipped with adapted infrastructures in which exchange can take place easily.
I had the experience of traveling from Seme, which is the border town Benin, Nigeria, to Lagos. And on the first 50 kilometers, there were 25 roadblocks.
That's right.
So on average, every 2 kilometers, a roadblock.
The corridors have proved their efficiency. In addition and above all, non-tariff barriers, bottlenecks, must be removed.
But we believe that a transit corridor from Dakar to Nigeria to Mombasa, with trade hubs sitting at Mombasa, Dakar and in Nigeria, have a real chance of building an economic momentum within this region.
Parce que vous avez un espace régional vibrant, très important, et qui a déjà démontré par son histoire et par son développement économique, financier et social, la volonté d'opérer ensemble. Vous voyez que dans cet ensemble ouest-africain qui est un marché fondamental, nous dépassons les 300 millions de personnes. C'est un marché dans lequel il existe des ressources naturelles très importantes et le premier facteur qui est le facteur humain.
Now, in terms of sheer statistics to support the importance of this corridor, close to 80% of the population of the ECOWAS region resides in the countries along this corridor. That's number one. Number two, along this corridor is the coastline, the Atlantic Ocean, the main source of imports and the main route for exports outside the African sub-region. Clearly, this corridor has huge commercial value to deliver to the region, one of the key requirements for growth.
The Lagos-Abidjan Corridor is very, very important within our program, our transport program in ECOWAS.
The Abidjan-Lagos Corridor is unanimously supported by the African states and institutions such as the World Bank, the European Union, the African Development Bank, the European Investment Bank, various organizations of bilateral cooperation, and financial institutions, as well as the private sector.
We can provide flexible support to help ECOWAS to set up mechanisms to manage this. So I'd like to see this being a tool to both raise awareness of the work that's been done in West Africa and as a way to promote greater understanding about the need for sort of coordination between governments, ECOWAS, UMOA, the private sector, etc.
We're looking more at Lagos these days and the bottlenecks in the transportation corridor within Nigeria. And just on a personal note, trying to get my goods through customs in my car when it was shipped here through the Lagos port. I think anything that ends up with a road that goes and dumps more traffic into Lagos is going to be the wrong way to go. There needs to be looking at how you deal with these mega centers and urban centers and how you deal with the transportation in and around those areas rather than there being a destination or transit point. This is going to be a massive problem that we're already facing that in Nigeria. The ports putting a temporary hold on allowing new ships to come in is a good indication that the capacity just isn't there. So part and parcel of your presentation, I think, needs to start looking at the ports as a real bottleneck.
So I see the main corridor as providing the backbone and providing the fuel for financing the interconnections. So it's very critical.
The Abidjan-Lagos Corridor is no longer just a project. It's becoming a reality through programs, achievements in every key area.
The biggest project we have now for the Lagos-Abidjan Corridor is the construction of joint border posts. As you know, that is if we are able to construct joint border posts and they work well, that could solve about 30 to 40% of the problems associated with free movement of goods and services and people along the corridor. The World Bank is also engaged on the corridor. They are also assisting us in the soft elements, those elements that will make free movement possible. Things to do with customs procedures, the harmonization of documents for use on the corridor, the Interstate Road Transit Convention, implementation of the Interstate Road Transit Convention, and several other issues.
The support that the EU is giving to ECOWAS and UEMOA on the transport facilitation project first started with a €2 million project. This project is about to end, and it's slowly being taken over by a bigger project, which has a main component that is that is the hard component, which is the construction of joint border posts along the Abidjan-Lagos Corridor. The funds being made available for this project is 63.8 million euros, and about 80% of it is going towards the construction. National facilitation committees that have been set up in most of these countries, and we've tried to support them, and then I think the World Bank is also contributing some money towards supporting them.
There's the Cotonou-Porto Novo road, which was essentially financed by the African Development Bank. It's open to traffic since about 5 years or 6 years. In Ghana, we are financing also a link of the Abidjan-Lagos Corridor. There's a second link in Ghana, about 120 kilometers towards the Ivorian border, where the bank has financed the design study.
The Abidjan-Lagos Corridor is the subject of an 8-point plan programme that guarantees the feasibility of the project for all its mid- and long-term implications. The Abidjan-Lagos Corridor constitutes a decisive strategic solution that is not just regional, as the future of the African continent will be built on it. The success of this project also depends on the indispensable mobilization of the private sector, the commitment of the investors.
Now, central to this agenda is how do we get more private sector engagement in trade policy formulation, and how within that framework have more dialogue mechanisms between private sector and public sector. So it makes sense for us to look closely at this corridor and see how we can pilot and promote the development of this corridor as a strategic framework on which to hang a variety of donor and partner, development partner activities in the region, and then see what lessons we learn, how we address the issues of all forms of barriers that we have in trade, and then see what lessons we're going to cascade up and down Africa.
You can find that line of best fit, which means that you can, all of them can move toward that and make sure that we have it done. So I think this is what I can say. And besides thanking the European Union, the ECOWAS, their participation, and all these agencies that are helping the private sector now to come together is a big, big plus for us towards the economic development of our region and our continent.